Morning, Internet. Welcome to Monday. Hope you had a fabulous weekend and things are sort of transitioning smoothly back into the new week. Back into the new week. I feel like that's an oxymoron, but moving forward. Today we wanted to make a brief little video, sort of around another one of the what I think of as like mental or psychological aspects of learning to code. Something you might experience on the LTC journey, and something that I've sort of put some level of thought into, but haven't found like a great fix other than just acceptance. And so the question is sort of what is that topic? What is that idea? And for me, the sort of one of the phenomenon or psychological pieces of LTC, being on a learning to code journey, is just the feeling and or acceptance that you cannot do as much as you'd like to do in the amount of time that you'd like to do it. Another way to put it is you're not going to be able to accomplish perhaps as much as you had hoped in a day, in a month, in a year. That's sort of translates in layman terms to things take longer than you like, or you could wish that you were smarter, faster, better, but you're sort of stuck, so to speak, or you're gifted what you have, and you have to make do. That's not to say that you shouldn't aspire to become more efficient or to do more things each day in your journey of learning to code, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about this phenomenon that at least I've experienced, which is sort of the concept that I'm very rarely gonna sort of do all the things that I had hoped to do on my task list for a day, even if I just isolate it to learning to code. So on that note, sort of the catalyst of this thought was how here in France we had a 4-day weekend, meaning we had a holiday Thursday and Friday, and then regular 2-day weekend on Saturday and Sunday. And bright-eyed me Wednesday night was very optimistic about all the things we were going to accomplish related to this project, but also related to my schoolwork. And it's sort of interesting now for me to sort of look back and see what happened, because I accomplished in no way nearly as much as I had hoped. So it might be sort of interesting to dissect that. The first thing that I'd say is, the quality of sleep sort of deeply affects at least my ability to execute and to stay on track. When I look back on Wednesday, I decided to try to be pro-social, and stayed out until maybe 1 with friends and peers. And this was after having pulled an all-nighter the night before. So categorically a bad idea. But I think in terms of finding meaning and appreciating my time in France, it was probably worth it. But staying up all night Tuesday night and then staying out late Wednesday night meant that Thursday was sort of a lost day. I was just not very productive. Friday, we were working on launching a video, and that video just took a lot longer than we had hoped. We had to splice together different sub videos, because as you may know, our alarms tend to go off. There might be one that goes off very shortly, reminding me to go to class, because it is 8:41 a.m. and we have class in 19 minutes, and it's a 15-minute walk, so do the math. Anyway, we had to splice and re-render videos, and it was the first time that we were doing that on this Mac, and we're trying to use iMovie. It's the regular software that you have on most MacBooks. It was a giant disaster. So rather than launch 10 or 20 videos, we just launched one. So that put us sort of behind. And then on Saturday, had hoped to work on schoolwork and dedicate that to schoolwork, but we spent most of the day working on this project. So that was cool. Would have meant that we were then sort of behind on schoolwork. And then yesterday was sort of just a catch-up day, maintenance day. doing errands, grocery shopping, laundry, that sort of stuff, catching up with family and friends via Skype. And at the end of the day, we're just like, really hadn't done any schoolwork. We had 4 days to do schoolwork. And we had launched, I think, like 3 videos instead of 30 or something. Because we just have a giant backlog of videos. And so this morning, I just woke up feeling pretty good, but just thinking about the fact that this is not a new phenomenon for me, both in terms of like imagining or aspiring to the fact that I could do a lot of things each day and actually doing a very small subset of that. And then also just the fact of like the things that you are able to do take a lot longer. And I started thinking about how that relates to learning to code and how that has in the past sort of felt discouraging in that, like, you know, I want to do 100 problems today, or I want to study for 6 hours today, or 8 hours, or 10 hours, or 12 hours. And on my learning to code journey, sometimes certain days I'll be lucky if I study 2 hours, right? Or just certain days I'll be lucky if I get 10 problems done, or 1 problem done. And I think just like looking for ways to accept that, to sort of make peace with where you are on that day, on that moment, can be really, really helpful, because at least for me, when I sort of resist the fact that I'm going much slower than I hope, then that's sort of where the cognitive dissonance comes in, and then becomes sort of this mental or psychological battle. And I end up spending a lot of energy on the psychological battle as opposed to actually doing the problem sets. So I'm not sure I have actionable tips for you today about how to tackle the psychology of not getting as much done as you'd like, but we would love to sort of know what you think, what the community thinks, if there are tips and tricks that different members have for getting things done, or for sort of coming to a state of acceptance of the not getting as much as you've done like phenomenon in the space of learning to code. So we invite comments and suggestions and a discussion here, either in the comment section or elsewhere, sort of within the infrastructure of our community. In summary, this video was about sort of the fact that whether it's in learning to code or elsewhere, there's often sort of a delta between what we had hoped to aspire to, or what we had hoped to accomplish, and what we're actually able to accomplish. Talked a little bit about this in the sort of regard of learning to code, and used the example of the last 4 days of my experience, and how that psychological phenomenon or sort of mental state might manifest itself. We used the example of 2-day back-to-back holidays plus 2-day weekend, 4 days off, and accomplished much less schoolwork and or project work, this project, as we had hoped, but sort of talked about our individual experience with that. So we do very much invite your feedback, things we could do better, things that you like about our videos, if anything, just that kind of stuff. We love hearing from you. If there's nothing else for this morning, I think I'm going to go to class. Appreciate you watching, and look forward to seeing you again tonight, tomorrow, someday soon, we hope. If not, favorite joke of the day, have a nice life. No, but do have a nice life, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow anyway, or today, something like that. Okay, catch you later. Ooh, 15 minutes to get to class.